Good morning, everybody. And we are here with Sean Nelson from Kurzweil 3000. We are excited to have him talk to all of you and those on YouTube, as well as on the ones that are going to be recorded, to talk about all the ins and outs of Kurzweil 3000. Sean, thank you very much for joining us. And Kim Kale from Student Accessibility Services, thank you very much for getting this event going for the whole Laney and Peralta District campus. Have a good one, everybody. Let's enjoy.
Well, thank you, everybody, for showing up. And this presentation is brought to you by SAS and the High Tech Center. I'm Kim Kale, and I am actually an avid user of Kurzweil. I do the training and also provide students with the knowledge of how to use. It's different. Of the difference between the training and knowing how to use is they both combine, they work together. So without any more delay, I'm going to pass it over to Sean.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being at home. Appreciate it. This is for you. So please, there's chat questions, audience questions. The objective is how I can help you for your academic career as best Kurzweil from what we see, because there's so many tools that this thing has available. There's some tools like that's not going to help me but I need to know of it just in case. So I want to talk about exactly what you get with your Kurzweil account here at Laney. You get access to 3 platforms. Our desktop client, which you download. Now, if I were a student, I would want to download this on campus where Wi-Fi signal is strong, right? If you have no signal at home, or you know you'll be going away maybe to a Verbo, Airbnb, and you have no idea if there's going to be Wi-Fi, you're going to go on a cruise. If there's a signal that's terrible, Wi-Fi signal, the download is your friend. And the reason why, you are able to have offline mode work for you. So it'll still read, it'll still highlight, it'll extract. I can write a paper. When I get to Wi-Fi, I can change it into a document. I can check my spelling, check my grammar, and turn it in as a PDF or whatever I need to do. Number 1. Number 2 is MP3. I would love to have a few chapters read to me on my phone as an MP3. Kind of old school now, but it's still very popular. So by the download, this is the PC version. So if you are a MacBook user, it will be different because it doesn't have Windows. But if I want to change to an audio file, this would be my tool to say, create what content I'm looking at, what chapters I want to change to an MP3 to an audio file. That way it's on your phone. So if you want to know it, I'll show you all the how-tos here in a little bit, but that's number 2. Number 3, we know students have dyslexia with use Kurzweil. This is the open dyslexic font. I think this is the coolest thing ever, so that if seeing normal fonts for you is hard to understand and see, Kurzweil will change that entire content, that entire file, those chapters, multiple files, into the open dyslexic font. And notice the letters are weighted and spaced differently. So if this is, hey, this might work for me, please, I'll show you the video that will help you to change it. But again, you'll have to download it. The beauty is, once you do the creation of change those books, that material to the open dyslexic font, and you'd rather use Kurzweil3000.com, doesn't matter. But it's this download version that changes standard text to the open dyslexic font if you choose to do that. So I think this is neat. Actually, I use this font for normal reading of anything because it's so much easier to see just generally. And then when I do speech to text, we'll talk about that. You'll see I do that also when I do speech to text. I use the open dyslexic font. The open dyslexic font is only available in Kurzweil and a Microsoft Word. So if you use Google Docs, no dice Chicago, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. That's wonderful if you want to create a document in Kurzweil, check grammar, or turn it or have it proofed on Microsoft Word. That font will still work. You can still add to it and make sure it works, but you can change it back to a standard font if you want to turn it in as a PDF to your professor or instructor. So I think that's a cool thing. So I wanted to share those three if I were in your shoes of why the download is important. Number one, offline mode. Number two, MP3 option. And three, the open dyslexic font. For those that have sight issues that are severe sight, this will also supersize a word. It's a lot of pixels, but naked seeds would be almost my entire screen if I chose to do that. So know that that is an option as well. But I think the Zoom that we have standard on the desktop client is very, very, very good, depending on your screen. So just wanted to show that is a reason why. So the download version is kind of the big brother of the three. It has every option possible. Miss Kim uses the download for working with paperwork and helping documents that may need more help with you. But come on in. Come on in, please come in. I'm not Hollywood. So I want to stop sharing that. The next one is Kurzweil3000.com. I have heard some of you do not have your own username and password as of yet. So you will be given your own username and password. This allows you access to all three platforms. Number three will be the Read the Web tool on Canvas. But we have a proctor here. So I want to talk about testing because this benefits everyone. When you have a test and Kurzweil is allowed as your accommodation, the difference that's going to happen to you is you're going to log in with that username and password they give you, because it will allow you to read the information or have the information read to you. So you get the extra time, you get the accommodation of Kurzweil. The difference is you cannot use your standard username and password. So you would use a different one. And it's going to be blocked. All the features are going to be blocked except text to speech. So you will simply use that username and password that your proctor is going to have. You'll go to the computer and that sheet or that test will be available on that laptop. So you will open it up. I'm not going to do this. I don't know what the heck I got here, but let's choose this one. I can open it up. It's going to scan that PDF in its raw format into Kurzweil. This may be slow because I'm using Zoom and everything else on my machine. But the proctor will have two things for you. You'll have access to the PDF test, which is going to load here in a minute, as well as your physical to make the marks, the checks with your pencil, whatever, show your work, whatever is required from that scenario. And it's going to be slow. But I'm going to show you what's going to be blocked. Well, wake up. Yes, please.
What about the math?
The what?
Math.
Great question. So math, Kurzweil knows our playground, but we say no to math because we know where we fail, and we will, as our job to you as students and instructors, we don't ever want to hear it didn't do that. We have there's a competitor out there that made a product and it has a lot of gaps. And that's the number one thing you hear on the dialogue is students say it doesn't do this. Yes. It's not showing?
Yeah.
Oh, do I want it on? Yes. Are they seeing it at home?
Are they seeing it at home? Maybe.
We good?
They see your face, not.
Yeah, that's what I think is they're not seeing my screen. They should be seeing my screen.
Are they seeing it now?
I'll do this one. How about that share?
How about that share? Yeah, now. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a good example of a bad scan. That's why I had it. That's why it's a rough. So we're going to ignore a bad scan. But You would lose access to dictionary all the way to translation. This window will be blanked out. You will lose access to speech to text. You cannot talk to the teacher, can't talk to your computer to answer the test. You will lose bookmarks. Your highlighters will remain. You'll have text, you'll have access to text notes if you want to do that, but you will not need it. It'll basically be put your cursor where you want to start and read.
Working together in
So
collaboration,
that you're able to have
consultation.
your test read to you, okay? So that is what I want. We have a proctor here with us, that's what the job will be, but you as students, you'll be given a different username and password for that test only, and you're able to good to go, and it's golden.
So the only thing that would happen is this, this process is so easy. The instructor would email me the test, I would upload it to Kurzweil, and the student would come in, put the username and password in, and tap just like the instructor he did, tap on the test, and there you go.
If you want to load it up with that username and password, great. If not, the student goes to Kurzweil3000.com on their own. They log in that username and password right here that you give them. And once they log in, great question, they go to computer, and that's going to scan your desktop, right? And there's going to be only one file.
Yep.
That test is going to be clean. So you click that one biology 101 test, and I say open, does that spinny thing, push play, done.
Yeah.
So it's fabulous. Okay. All right. Any questions on the testing of the username and password student perspective? Great. All right.
One question.
Yes.
Sean. What about students that have a time restriction? How would that be?
That is the proctors. That would be you saying you get, it's 11:30 now, at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, we're over. It's not going to time out. Great question. But yes, student has to know, and that's part of your job is you have until X time. Good luck, right?
Yeah.
Great question.
Whatever alarm I have, that's it.
Yeah, because Kurzweil doesn't have a timeout. Great question. Okay. All right. Canvas. The beauty of Kurzweil is our read the web tool for Canvas. And this is awesome. Your machines do not have this loaded, so don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how to load it if your laptop doesn't. For those at home, if you do not have the read the web tool loaded, no big deal. We're going to learn today. But I want you to know how cool this is on Canvas. So this is my read the web tool right here. It's in gray, which means I'm not working. So how I would load that up? Two ways. If I have my username and password that Miss Kim gave us, or the department gave us for Kurzweil3000.com, I would log in and notice it says enable read the web tool right here. If you've never done that, you click on that. I'm enabled, so it doesn't go anywhere, but it's going to take you to the Google Chrome store. And you're going to hit here and you're going to enter in Kurzweil 3000. And it's going to say read the web. And it's going to say right here, add to your Chrome. Yes. And it will enable. Now, when it does that, and I don't know why Google does this, but I guarantee it's going to happen. It won't show right here. But you have a puzzle piece. I don't know why they do this, but hit your puzzle piece and pin it to your desktop. Notice when I pin it, when I unpin it, it's gone. Hey, that's not cool. Pin it, golden. All right. It's that easy, but I promise you, you're going to have to go that step. So if you are a MacBook user, sorry, Kurzweil and Safari are not friends. Siri, we all love her. She competes with the voices and it'll make it miserable for you. So if you're a MacBook user, please download Google app. Google Chrome app, sorry. All right.
Was there a question from the audience?
No, you're talking to see, I have a question with, how do you do a free password? How do we get into this, 300?
3000?
Yeah, from campus.
From Canvas, I didn't. Great question. This is its own tab, its own URL.
Where is it?
So I'm going to just get out. So I want to go to Kurzweil3000.com. I'm opening up a new tab. And I have a bookmark, but that's new tab, different than your Canvas tab, but great, because for note taking, we're going to talk about that, how good this is on note taking. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back. Oh, I lost my Canvas. Hang on. I'm going to turn this off. So I've logged into my Canvas class, right? We recognize this, correct? What I'm going to show you is everything that you see that Miss Kim never knows about until you say, by the way, this is on there. It's not kind of working for me. So my little Canvas page is designed for what you see all semester, all school year long. So just kind of, we're going to go through different particles that help you. But if I were in the Canvas world, I would want to know that this tool can do that. So again, I'm going to my read the web tool. I'm using my username and password. The gearbox here has all the voices that I can choose from. Notice there is a Rodrigo, Rosa, Marcia, Celia voice. Now, the reason why those are there, let's say, for example, your social studies class says, I want you to do a paper from something in Barcelona. I like soccer, so why not do FC Barcelona's team? So more than likely, I'm going to do research on the internet and get a Spanish newspaper, but I want that read to me so I understand the content. Great. I would have you select on that Spanish newspaper. Rodrigo and Rosa read it. Much better dialect and tongue versus Sharon or Peter from the UK. Okay. So that's for what you like best. Now, for those that want to understand, I know there's some ESL students and I need to understand the word better so I can speak it better myself. Peter and Lucy, I kind of call them the James and Jane Bond of dialect. It's a very precise English tone. And I have learned from students that, hey, I like this because I'm understanding it better. I might want to slow it down, but I do like that tone. Other than that, Heather, all the way down to Will, very, very popular voices. Okay, next, speed. One thing that they didn't tell us in grade school and high school was how important text-to-speech speed is for you from a learning concept. So I want you to think about this. You may love science, and from a understanding of those concepts, not a problem. I just want to make sure I understand it correctly. Maybe faster is okay for you. How's your comprehension and understanding on science? I mean, on history? Not so good. Slow it down. I promise you, when you learn these strategies, what's easier for you according to that content, your brain will absorb it that much better. Now, I'm brushing up on stuff. I'm cooking some eggs. I'm cooking some ribs. I'm doing some fun stuff. I just need to go over it again. Maybe that's a perfect time to have the computer on sidebar and it's faster just because I'm absorbing that content because I already kind of know it. So kind of understand that the value of the speed is for you. And I wish they would talk about this more when we had this earlier in our lives, but they really don't understand it. Now we understand the value, the beauty of speed. Next, this will highlight a word all the way to a paragraph at a time. So if I want to choose that paragraph, great. Paragraph and sentence seem to be the most popular. Continuous, just like an MP3, it'll read paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, whatever I want it to do. Self-paced, at the end of the paragraph, it's going to stop. This is for you, comprehension. So if this is subject matter that is difficult, maybe stop at the end of that paragraph. So you can ask yourself, do I understand it? Okay. Next, we have forward and back. This will just go back to that paragraph or jump to a paragraph. This is my play button. So whenever I want to play material, I set my cursor where I want it to start. Let's see what I have for my voice. I have Peter, a good speed.
As a group project during the 1997 Humming.
Speed this up. So you see.
Banders Conference in southeastern Arizona. Participants banded hummingbirds simultaneously.
So I really got some really you know, this topic matter is really sensitive. So remember, hummingbirds are tough. Slow it down. That was a joke, people. Come on. Hummingbirds are like the cutest thing ever.
At 6 sites on 31 August. 5 sites were
Notice the
with
speed. Change the voice.
the Santa Cruz River drainage, and one site was along the San Pedro.
So awesome reader. Use it to your advantage. I'm going to change it because I want her to be a better speed when we go to a different language here. All right, next one over. Speaker. Doodah, Sean. If I don't have a speaker, I can turn off. No. We know that students may have ADHD. And I've learned from these students twofold. So sometimes I'm good to have the speaker on.
River. 8 hummingbird species
And
were
watch the
banded,
chaser, and I'm
black
understanding my
chin,
content,
Annas,
so I'm following the yellow
broad-billed,
highlight.
Rufus,
All of a sudden,
magnificent.
you know, it's just getting too much for me. I just want to manually turn it off. Now I'm going to watch it. I'm understanding according better for my own understanding. You know what? I'm good. I'm better now. I'm okay.
Individuals, especially of black.
So I think it's good to know if you have ADHD that is a good friend of yours, that you don't have to worry about speaker, headphones, but play it according to how you want to understand that material. Next one over. Dictionary. Also has a thesaurus. So I'm ESL based. I want to write a paper. I need to know more than just that one word. I want to expand my vocabulary instead of going to another tab, thesaurus on the fly. Next one over, translation. I can take one word or the entire content and change this to a different language.
5 sitios estaban dentro del drenaje del río Santa Cruz y un sitio estaba a lo largo.
The languages from Catalan all the way down to Swedish, not only will it translate, it will read it back. Miss Kim told me we have some students from Asia. Simplified Chinese is here. Give me a minute. I know I find it and I go right by it all the time. The difference is it will not read it, but there's your characters of the same information you want to have translated. Now, we've taken Google Translate and put a bunch of Kurzweil love and support on it. We've actually won some UDL awards for this, for how easy this is and how complete it is. So for those students that this may be a help, awesome. But transverse, let's go back to Barcelona. I really don't know Spanish that well. Great, highlight that Spanish content and change it back to English. It's going to read English for you for that Spanish content or whatever that content may be. So it goes both streets. I don't know Spanish. I don't know Dutch. I don't know German. I don't know Hindi. All right. It's telling me how to read it. So it's that cool of a tool. Next on Canvas. How many of you see an image? They put PowerPoint on there. You do see it, you don't realize it. When you find out it won't read it, notice there's no cursor. 2 things I want you to be aware of. So the cursor doesn't work on an image. Notice it went from, hey, I see where do you want to go, to I don't see anything. Can now see your screen. Okay, is that good? All right. This is a screenshot tool. I'm selecting it. I'm zoning in on exactly what I want read. Twofold for this. Now I can have whatever this image is read to me.
The ruby-throated hummingbird is by far the most.
But let's say this is important information for me. Let's say that this is actually content that I want to keep as a study guide. I just don't want to throw this away. I actually want to keep this in my files. So I can do this. I can save this document. Notice it says image reader, today's date. We're going to go back to this in a minute, and I'll show you what I've been doing. So know that when you see this image, this is your tool. Another big wow. We know that you are given a Canvas assignment, and that page grows throughout the semester or the quarter. but you're told midterm, you're going to write a paper on what we've been discussing as a class. That's going to be kind of tough. So what you have to do today or yesterday was cut and paste, put it in a Word document. Now, I want you to use your highlighter. So you can highlight. Yellow is your main idea. Whatever's important for you. Maybe change green as a secondary idea, more details. Light blue, I'm going to use that as my vocabulary list. I want to build a vocabulary list off this. Use the highlighters for what benefit you. Now, as this assignment grows, I don't have this on here forever, but there's going to be a lot of colors. That may be confusing when you go back to see that. Well, that's okay. You can hide it. And now it's clean. But now it's time to write a paper. So I want to show my highlights, and I'm going to select outline. This is awesome, isn't it? This is so darn cool. Now you have your outlines ready to start writing a paper. So this is what is a big wow. So I can take my highlighter, erase my yellow if I want. The hand neutralizes my task. So I want to stop the eraser. I'm going to click the hand, and now I'm back to a cursor. So now I can go ahead and change this font to Open Dyslexic, increase the font size. I've been told by individuals that know this font very well, you want 16 or 18 or more, so your brain really sees the letter independently as it's read to you.
As a group project during the 1997
Or as you are typing. So I can set my tool, my word prediction tool.
This Thistle.
I can use my speech to text. I would rather talk to my computer and write this paper than go on typing because it might take longer. The green bubble is your speech to text. So make sure on your machine, your laptop, or whatever you're using, that your mic is activated. Otherwise, it will not work. But this is the greatest thing ever. Now, I want to talk about hybrid classes, and I am now on this Canvas assignment, and I'm home, or I'm hybrid. All right. I'm not good at taking notes, writing them down fast enough.
Can I ask you a question before you go to the next page?
Yes.
Okay, if I am highlighting more than 3 to 7 pages and I extract the information, how do I know where the page to go back or where I got those notes from?
On Canvas, it's on that big article because it's one big article. Great. On a document that I have in Kurzweil3000.com, it will have the page numbers and where I got it from. So I have the backup. Great question. Take my hand and get rid of that. Okay, so let's say that this topic matter is okay. I've extracted it. And now I want more notes on this. So I'm doing twofold here. I'm doing extraction as well as note taking at home or in class. So if I have my Kurzweil3000.com open, and I have what I'm looking at for what document I want to work on, and the instructor is here talking about material, and I need to stay focused on this assignment. If I open up that new document or my existing document, let my cursor on, turn my speech to text on, I'm going back to my Canvas assignment. The lecture is occurring. The professor is talking away about ideas. A student made a comment. I hope my laptop picked up that comment from the back. But anyway, a dialogue is happening as it's lecture time. It just picked up all my notes. So once again, I want to show you how easy this is. I'm going to get out completely of this window. And I'm going to log into Kurzweil on my own. So here's another way. This thing is beyond the coolest thing ever. I wish I would have had this in college. So I'm just selecting a folder. Okay. I'm going to go to write, new draft. Placing my cursor. I'm live right now, face to face. I'm not good at note taking, but I'm ready to go because with the minute the instructor goes to the big board or we're opening up another tab, I've turned my speech to text on. I'm doing whatever I can. Dialogue is happening. I'm just able to listen to the lecture and not worry about, oh my gosh, that was good. Which I did in college. And I know you go through it like, oh, that was good, but oh, I'm behind. Give it time to think, and there's your notes. Before you shut down your laptop, save it, change what this draft is. And by the way, it's underscore and it drives me nuts, and please complain about it because I think we need to change this. But now it's saved as my lecture 214, right? Now I go back home. Now it's time to prepare to relearn what I learned because I kind of got the concepts I didn't. Well, now I can just go ahead and
I turn my speech to text on I'm doing,
or I can preview what I want to do. Look for what's important for me, and I can now highlight and extract that information from the whole lecture. So let it listen as much as you want. It's going to listen to about everything. You sit up front, it's going to do that much better than back row from this note-taking perspective in class. When you're a hybrid home, it's your computer doing its job. But if I were wanting to take these notes in this lecture, this is how I'd set this up to make it my friend. So this is a brand new thing that Google has allowed us to do. 4 months ago, not an option. So this is why it's so cool for you to know that you have electric, because there are individuals that are given the accommodation of a note taker, if you will, and it's an awesome tool, very, very expensive. Not everyone gets that. Well, the real world is we're not all great at taking notes. So let's have notes taken for us and we clean it up. So what you never want to do, now I'm your English professor, you don't just turn this in. There's no grammar in there, there's no periods, there's no commas, it's just stuff. So if you turn it in, nice F paper, I appreciate you not even trying. So take the time, clean it up, do the right highlights so that you can take what you want to create a paper according to what is information. And you can now extract that note. I know that. In my notes. Oh, I gotta save this. I gotta save this as a PDF. That's why I was doing it. So I'd save this as a PDF. Bring this back into Kurzweil and then do my highlights and extractions if I wanted to take that. Okay. So that's why I want to show. But other than that, oh, I gotta save this as a standard PDF. Where did this show up? It showed up in my public folder because I had it under my science. I think I did. Where did I put it? There it is, lecture 214. If I were more organized, I'm doing this too fast, I would have chose my folder and put it under my folder for, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to move it to my science folder. And now my science folder has that lecture. Okay. So stay organized. And how, by the way, how I made these folders, because everyone is given a private and public folder. They mean nothing other than from a student perspective. This is the Laney account, if you will. You will not be able to see into the Laney's private folder. They can see into your private folder as a student, but this was set up before Google Drive became what Google Drive is. So that's our operating system. The benefit to you keep files in those private folder or public folder, because if you want to use this on your phone and have the information read to you on the phone, this website is exactly the same on your phone. It's not an app, it's Kurzweil3000.com, but it's the same scenario. Okay. I'm done with it. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to delete it so I won't confuse myself. All right. So we learned a lot about the highlighting, how to work on Canvas. Now, another step. You guys see PDF attachments, don't you? Two ways you see them. As an attachment, just like an email enclosure, or a URL. I want to show you what's going to happen for both of these. So this attachment, it now changed it to a PDF HTML-ish paper. I don't know how it does it. It doesn't matter. So I can still select it. Notice it's lighter in color.
Cells are structural units that make up plants and animals.
It will still read it.
Also,
Depending on how it loads, I'm going to be honest, the highlighter may work or may not. So I was asked just the other day by a student, okay, Sean, I'm seeing this. What do I do if I do want this paper? Okay, great question. If I were you, I would download this as a standard PDF. Go to Kurzweil3000.com, go to your upload and bring it into your account. So you're changing it from a standard PDF to a KESI file, and then you can do all the extractions, all manipulations you want, if that's important. That's the only step you'd have to do. Okay, so know that if it's just, I want to read it one and done, great, it'll play well. But if it's something you need as a study guide or more, take time to download it, save it on your desktop, bring it into your Kurzweil3000.com. Next, you will see a .pdf URL. This means they basically copied and pasted the PDF URL and put it on the Canvas assignment. No big deal, it happens all the time. Click it and notice what's happening. This PDF button shows up. It senses, I see a PDF. What do you want to do with it? This was really developed for OER. I hear that Laney doesn't have a lot, but students, you may see this in your academic career, that a lot of professors are going out and grabbing free source material. Saves you 45, 50 bucks or more for buying a book. The downside is it's one large PDF. So that can be 500 pages and you only need 20 or maybe 9. So the last thing you want to do is download all 500 pages. So when you see that type of scenario and you see this PDF button, perfect, click it. It's going to ask you, what do you want? I see 4 pages here in this example. Do you want all 4, 1 through 4, or do you want a segment? Well, I only want a few. I only want 3 through 4. So I clicked it, submitting it. It's now scanning it, OCRing it, as we call it in our industry, optical character recognition. Thanks for your patience on Zoom, because it is slower. But now I have
firecracker vine dash Monisha cordifolia small.
twofold. I have a .pdf KES, so when you see .pdf.kes, that means it's a KESI file. That means it's in our operating system. This is designed for you to use whatever to manipulate the way that you need. So I can use my highlighter and extract it. I can add notes to this. We're going to go back to some real textbooks in a minute. But basically, this is now a study guide again for me if I choose to do that. Save that document. Sean, where did it go? I went over to my universal library, this little hamburger thing. Recently opened file. There's my hummingbird plants and my image reader from what we decided on. So this is where this goes. So if I want to organize myself, what's this? I'm going to do that real quick. What was that? Oh, that's that one. Great. I want to move that to my science, this hummingbird plants. What was that again? Oh, that's okay. That's pages 3 and 4. Great. So all you do if you want to organize, click what you want. Move it to your folder. and you're golden. So here's my notes. Okay, I'm organized. I feel happy. I'm ready to go. Because by the way, I want to go do some right now. I'm going to come back probably pretty late, and I got class in 2 more days. I need to make sure I got my stuff back together. So that's why I do want to do that. And all I did again was I right clicked, add folder, named it whatever that class is, and created it, and it jumps below. So new. There's my new folder. I'm done with that class. I'm done with that thing. I want to delete the folder. That's simple. Okay. Next, let's talk about, okay, Forrest, any questions on Canvas, Read the Web tool, friendship? Do we understand this? Any chat? Chat, if you have something you want to say, please. I'm going to, by the way, delete all my highlights.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to our Kurzweil 3000 presentation. Hopefully you've been able to be a part of the first hour. If not, don't worry. We have things being recorded as well. So Sean, why don't you take it away and keep educating our group on everything that is.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Nate. That's awesome. All right. Thank you for first session. This session, we're going to talk about Kurzweil3000.com. This, I think, is the best friend ever for I need to have content read to me, manipulate it, write papers, go through that. So we're going to go through a lot. I'll show you the how do I help myself now that Sean's left. I don't want to watch the video again, but I'll show you some key things. So Kurzweil3000.com. I was asked during the break, I don't have my username and password. If you do not, please reach out to Miss Kim, and she will get you an account set up so you have access to this. If you have an account using a password right now, if you want to follow along with me on your account, you are more than welcome. If you do not have anything on it, watch what I'm going to do so that you'll learn from that perspective. I'm going to log in. I'm using my username and password. The Universal Library, remember we talked, everyone has a private and public folder. That's where you need to put content if you choose to do that. I would recommend it because it's easier to access that. You have access to grab information from your Google Drive. If you have PDFs or whatnots in there. I do not have OneDrive, but if you have information in OneDrive you want to use or work on there. Some of you may have a Bookshare account. For those that do not know, Bookshare is a federal organization that allows access to material. So generally, as a rule, when we're in high school or in K-12, we'd be given an IEP and that account would be given to us. If you do not have it, no big deal, but I want to show you one cool thing that Bookshare has. Free books. So I want to read Shakespeare. I've never read Shakespeare before. I'll enter him as an author, free books, and do a search. Many, many books come in. So if I clicked on Richard III, notice it says free, no images. That means there's no pictures versus Julius Caesar will have pictures. These will be automatically downloaded if you want to do some fun reading that's allowed on Bookshare. Ms. Kim, you had a question on Bookshare?
Actually,
a comment.
If a student or anyone would like access to Bookshare, just email me at @peralta.edu.
Got that, CAEL at Peralta.edu, right? I remember that one too. It is an awesome program, by the way. The difference between computer and upload. If I select computer, so this is what I do when I'm testing. I have access to my desktop to capture any information I want. The difference is if I select something, I'm not going to because we've already seen it takes a little while, but if I selected that chapter 1, it would automatically load in my recently opened file. I would recommend you do that if this is kind of a one-off. But if you have to have material that you want, textbooks, content, information from your professor, I would much rather have you create a folder. Remember we did the right click, add folder. Go to upload. Notice the upload button says, I know where I want to send it. And let's say that I wanted to download that biology book that we're going to be talking about. And I'll show you exactly what you're seeing. So here's that biology chapter 30. If I want to download that, I would select that, open it up. I'm not going to, but as you can see, there's the exact same file now in a Kurzweil file. So I'm going to select that textbook now that it's in my Kurzweil account. Thank you. All right, let's run through the features on Kurzweil3000.com. Save document, that saves exactly what I want to save in my Kurzweil document and file, golden. I want to save this to Google Drive or OneDrive if I choose to do that. Easy access to do that. Next over, the gear. This is the same gearbox that we saw on the Read the Web tool. Notice Sharon defaulted automatically from when we were on the Canvas assignment that now it's Sharon and the same speed. That's nice to know, because if you like that voice, that's good to know. Below here, we have options for skip reading and header and footers and read voice notes. I would recommend you check those because reading headers and footers is annoying. So of all things, check that. If you do voice notes on your own and you don't want them read, you just want to do them independently, that's why you check that. When you're in a writing document, if you are slow at typing, this will read to you all characters, A, B, C. You type fast, probably drive you nuts. So I would recommend if you want it read back to you, select whole sentence. So at the end of that period or break, it'll read back what you wrote. Your language teacher loves that. Unit, same thing we talked about, read the web. Do I want to highlight word all into paragraph? Do I want to read continuously, nonstop, paragraph after paragraph, or self-paced, stops at the end of that paragraph? Next over. Very important view here. I am logged in as me, right? Okay. I'm not seeing what I need to see. Hang on. Oh, they moved it. Oh, okay. All right. Thumbnail view. If you remember back in grade school, we'd open up the textbook and the instructor would say, we want to go through what we're going to study. This is that example. And the reason why, let's say the publisher gave this to Laney College and all of the front matter material was included. From Kurzweil's perspective, the first thing it sees or scans is page 1. The instructor says, I want you to start on page 7, but there are 3 pages of front matter material, chapters, acknowledgments, a blank page, a little tiny writing on it. So you go to page 7, that doesn't look right. So this allows you to kind of preview that. Oh, it's actually right here. Page 10 is actually where the instructor wants me to start. Also note, I have document view. I don't know why it's changed on me. It's gonna be different for you guys. But as we know, the downside of a laptop is that's what I get to see. And so if my eyes need help, I can change that just like we saw the desktop client. I can zone that tighter for me if that helps my eyes. We also know that you'll be in discussion groups or in a library and you do not have time to go to a scanner, to a copy machine and create a PDF. Take a picture of it with your phone and do the best job possible, just like you're doing a selfie, and give it to one of your loved ones or friends. Email that to yourself, place it on your desktop, go to your Kurzweil account, go to upload it into your file, and it will bring you that image in perfectly. The downside is it may be on its side or upside down because it's just bringing an image in. So this rotate allows you to change that page or those images that you shot. So I know that sometimes not everything is scanned for you. And if you're patient enough to do 1 page at a time on your phone, do that so that you have electronic content. So it's going to be, if you have 25 or more pages, it's going to be obnoxious, be a lot. But if that will help you so that you're having the Kurzweil tool help you in the reading and the extracting and making a document on it, then do so. Take the time to do that. Hopefully most of the hard copy is also available electronic. Laney's doing a much better job of getting most content hardback into electronic, and the publishers do this. It's a matter if the librarian or the book system knows that, right? But if you have no choice, that's how you do the workaround. Because I know you're with a cohort friend or you're in a discussion group. They may have something that you don't, and you want that. I need this. This will be cool for me. That is your way to bring it into Kurzweil, so you work on it. That's why that tool is so important. Next one down, and generally as a rule, I guess it's because my screen is sized differently. This background color and highlighting tool, this is brand new. As you notice, I highlight pink and the unit is gray. I can change this if I want. So depending on what you like to see, the highlighter will change accordingly. This is brand new and beyond cool. But if I'd rather see this content, I'm getting a better page here, so give me a minute. Let's go on this page here. It's easier to freeze for content. But if I want to change this page to a better background, this is easier on my eyes, rose or sky. As long as I stay in this file, this color will stay there. I'm going to do two things. Now it's 2 in the morning, or I really don't like all this blue. It's kind of obnoxious, Sean. No problem. Notice to the upper right, I have dark mode. So we see a lot of students use this, especially 2 in the morning. You're doing late night studies. I want to go back to rose. So now I can have this read to me.
Stored food providing critical support for growth as a
If this is what looks good for me. So please be aware of these color changes. It's very, very important. And it's amazing what it does for you from your brain comprehension perspective. If your eyes are not kind of tweaked out, that I'm able just to have this information read. So in a discussion like this, it's not always great, but I want you to be aware of it. So I'm going to uncheck dark mode. It's going to change it back to white. No big deal, but I have that option. I think that's a very cool tool. Select format. So let's say I played with this. I manipulated this. I put stuff on it. I put text notes on here for me. I can change this to a PDF. Now, we also know you have information where you got to find words, and control find does not work on Kurzweil. So if I were you and you knew that there were a lot of words that you wanted to find to do some paper learn from, all I would do is take this PDF and save it as a Word document. Call it version 2. Put it on your desktop, bring it into your same science folder. But that Word document now has control find. So I can do a control F and it will look for that word and it'll find and highlight every single word. Why is that valuable? Let's say that you're supposed to give a paper and you want that word as your main subject matter. So by doing that version 2 of that chapter, you know exactly where that is. So when you see it on the exact text, because the downside of a PDF going to a Word document, PDFs do not have columns. This does, but Word documents are set in a structure. So many times when I save this to a Word document, it looks completely different. It'll still read and everything else will be fine. The difference is the layout will be different. So the tree is going to be gone. This little box is going to be gone. It'll be text, but it's just going to be that text. But at least I can find that word. So now I can do the research on that document. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? I know you students go through, I need to find words, and that's how you do it on Kurzweil. And it's been asked for me a lot in the last few months or so. How do I do a find the word? And that's the way to do it in Kurzweil. But please, 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 when you save the document, it's called version 2 and put it in the same folder so you'll know what you're seeing the next time you look at it. All right. We don't need to worry about show bubble notes. Okay. We understand this tool well. Bookmarks. Bookmarks are for you twofold. Standard bookmark, just like we know. That's why I left last time I read this information. Or as I had this information read,
Stored food providing critical support for
I kind of liked it. In fact, I think I'm going to say this potential test. So I'm going back to another page here. The information's read.
ginkgo biloba alpha is the only
Learning this page is awesome, great, I'm happy with it. Here, I'm reading this page now. All right, do I need to clean anything up? Because now it's been a few hours and the test is tomorrow. I'm kind of tired. Is there anything I need to kind of retune myself on? Oh, what was this?
potential test.
Oh, that's right. That was important. In fact, that's important for me to know. In fact, I really had a hard time with this. I'm going to do one step further. I'm going to go ahead and select food and go to my notes. This was heavy content. I'm going to ask Bob tomorrow. It seems like he likes this stuff better and understands it better than I do. So this may help me. I think this is important. So now as I'm previewing this stuff, we're getting together, having a cup of coffee before class. Oh, that's right. This stuff, that bookmark. This was heavy content. I'm going to ask Bob tomorrow. It seems like he likes this stuff better and understands it better than I do. So this may help me. I think this is important. Make voice notes for yourself. Ask yourself questions. Make statements. Use your voice, your understanding on the content that helps you. I wish I would have had that, because how many times do we read information? Yeah, I think I got it. No, I don't. But I go back and reread it. But if I ask myself what I didn't understand and I hear myself say that, that's me better. Or I know my friend really did understand that better than me. Let's work together. Let's be colleagues like we do in the real workforce. So please, this is a new tool added. I think it's beyond cool. This, once I'm done with it, I can just delete my voice note. Also, bookmarks. The value of bookmarks are for your phone as well. So let's say that you know you're going to be in transit. When you use Kurzweil3000.com on your phone, it's a live feed, just like Netflix. Your phone has to be open. It's live streaming. So you're never driving while you're doing this, but you can walk from the parking lot, you can be on the train, you can be in transit, you can walk around the house. But if you wanted to start here, you would bookmark this area. Now, when you open up this file again, just like you normally did, Kurzweil3000.com, went to my science folder, went to my chapter 30, I went to bookmarks, and I'll hang on, I'll pretend like I'm over here again. For phone, oh, that's right. I want to read this again. Defaults right to it. Hit play, and I'm golden.
Disappeared and others became prominent. See chapter 2.
A lot of students, and hear a lot of students use this just for their phone, because I don't have time to create an MP3. I want to do this tomorrow. I need to study on my way in, whatever, set that up. So use bookmarks twofold. Where did I last leave off so I won't forget? Or how can I help myself understand that class, that material better? And of course, I can just go back
For phone.
and delete them.
Potential test.
And that cleans that up. All right. Another thing, we're on text. And this kind of rhymes with what we're seeing on our Canvas assignment. I would think this is kind of cool to tie that material in. How do I do that? Well, I think it's right. It's right here where I'm going to tie that in. I'm going to go to my hyperlink. Yep, I want to do a hyperlink. So I'm going to go grab that URL. This could be on Canvas. This could be on a website where content is. Copy. Go to my bookmark. Drop that in. For some reason, I'm getting these weird windows. Zoom's changing me a little bit. Do it again. That's odd. All right, so let me add it, which is odd. But I think it's because when we zoomed out, I changed my format or something. I'm going to do something. I'm going to log out completely and log back in. So I want this to work the way that it works for log out. What's the beauty of technology? It's not 100%. All right, go back to that. That's still doing it. All right. I apologize. It'd be add. For some reason, something's going on. And it's never done this, but it'd be add. And this really becomes a hyperlink. So it actually, I'd click it and that article would show up. Okay. It is used by a couple universities in Arizona all the time. Next over, highlighters. We saw that in the Read the Web tool. The difference is you can change what you want the colors to say for you. So if you want yellow to be main idea, supporting idea, details, a vocab list, change it, then save it. So as you use your highlighter, you know that yellow will always be, well, that went crazy. That will always be your main idea. Supporting idea, vocabulary list. I want to do a vocabulary list real quick to show you, since I think this is really important. So let's say we're creating gray as our vocabulary list. I chose gray as my vocab list. So we're doing terrestrial, geologist, million, angiosperm. All right. Now, I want to create a study guide of these vocabulary words. I know you guys do this all the time. I want to have that set up. I'm going to my hand to discontinue the task. I'm going to go down to column notes, hover to discover new column notes, open column notes, extract highlights to column notes. Create a vocabulary list. I'm going to make sure that it's only going to capture my vocab list. Here are the definitions. I can test myself. I can use speech to text to define that better for me as a better understanding, or I can type. Go ahead and write that. Is it writing? Are we writing now? There we go. I want to make sure that that didn't change. So notice it said the wrong writing. So what would I do? Change that to say WR, right? Do a little spell check on it with Grammarly, which I love on this. I can also save this document. So I want to save this folder. In my science folder. So as I build my vocabulary list through the quarter semester, that list can grow for your vocabulary. My daughters use this all the time when they're doing their nursing school because there's so much information they have to learn for these larger words. So know that that is an amazing tool. Next, we're in class and the professor's talking and I need to take notes and I want to stay on this material, but I'm not very good at taking notes. I'm going to go back to notes. This is a note. Or this is capturing the lecture, just like we talked about with the Word document. The difference is I'm staying in this open notebook, this open text. Have a great day. So twofold. This I'm going to save on this document. And it's going to stay wherever I want it to stay. So I can move this around, clean this up. But better yet, when I go to other pages and I'm previewing what I've set up, that note stays on that page. Now I like what I'm seeing. I need this actually as a study guide because I have the documentation from the lecture. I want to go ahead and save this as a PDF. So I can put this on my desktop and I'm golden. Now I have a study guide from that class matter. Another thing, I know we have some ESL students listening in on. Same thing. I can capture any content at word, one word at a time, many words at a time. Go to my translation tool. This is what it does differently versus the read the web tool. So talking with a student earlier about simplified Chinese. That opens up the dialogue of there's what that's the English side, there's my characters. If I'm Hispanic and I want to do Spanish,
Los geólogos consideran que el final del periodo pérmico, hace unos 251 millones de años, es el límite.
is here's the content that I chose to focus on, there's my translation. Remember the read the web tool kind of laid over that. This allows me to see both windows. Does that make sense? You like that? In the back? Did you see that? Not good? That's good, good. I like that, makes it easier than using the phone. So that is under the bookmark. Same thing available I had earlier. If that word's available, let's see if it's under dictionary. Well, it is, all right. And I have my thesaurus as well. Picture dictionary is for nouns. I don't know why we have it for higher ed, but we do. It's great. Yeah, to a point. All right. That kind of covers what I want you guys to do with text, standard information. If you have an EPUB, sometimes a professor will give you an EPUB. They are not set up in chapters. They're all set up under bookmarks. So you would have all of the chapters in an EPUB. Do we see EPUBs much at Laney? A little bit? Okay. That's where you're going to see that. That's the difference. Other than that, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. Now, Sean, you covered a ton of stuff. How in the world am I going to remember this? Let's talk about that. Universal Library. When I logged in, I had a help menu. So I'm going to go my help menu. Sean, you loaded the read the web tool. I kind of got it, but I didn't. I've logged into Kurzweil3000.com with my account. Read the web. Here's your instruction manual. So if you didn't get it the first time, here's the instruction manual. Again, Sean, you talked a lot about the stuff on the website. Awesome, but I forgot. Where's that information? This is your instruction manual. This is the best part of it. The instruction manual, these chapters of how to are linked. So you talked a little bit about reading text aloud or silently. There's that that information on that. Go back to a new subject matter. You talked about speech to text. How do I work my speech to text? There's how that works for speech to text. This instruction manual is designed so what do you want to learn and master, and how easy it is to find on our instruction manual without playing around and getting frustrated. So please be aware. Once again, I want to share where that's located. I'm logged into Kurzweil3000.com. I selected help and these hyperlinks and get us started guides. These right here, Macintosh and Windows, that's for the download desktop client if you choose to do that. All the tools are there. The Kurzweil Academy, you select that. This is also videos that we've created. Some are a little older, but remember I talked about how do I do an audio file? Right here's the video of how I create an audio file. How did I select all my text to the open dyslexic font? That video is right here. So if that is important to you, you want to change your text to always read an open dyslexic font, like that biology chapter I had originally, that's that video. We also have a YouTube channel. More importantly, those videos on our academy are kind of long. The videos that we put on our YouTube are much shorter, more to the point. I want all of you, when you say we learned a lot today, this 8-minute video is basically exactly what we're doing in 8 minutes. Big broad overview. Oh, that's right. Canvas. How do I do the reading on Kurzweil3000.com? please watch this, and that's exactly what you need to know. Now, as you go down to ideas that I want to learn better, these videos will help you. If it says Win, it's talking about the Windows version for the download. Web, Kurzweil3000.com. So if you want to learn all over again how the Read the Web browser extension works, that's that video. So you have a choice to read it or see it being done. I know Miss Kim has made them, but we're trying to get away from everyone creating their own. So it's one place for you as students, because what if you go to a different university later? Miss Kim's not going to be there with that video, but Kurzweil should be sharing that information with you. Okay, so very, very important. All ideas, I went to YouTube. Kurzweil Education. When you see our logo, there it is, okay? And you have all the videos. And please, if you have how-tos please let Miss Kim know or Mr. Nate, because the more we hear of it, we'll create a video and put it on our YouTube channel. Because we know it's what you guys in the field need to have help on. We know we have a great tool. We know it's a lot. We want to make sure you understand every part of it as best as possible. That's it for now. Any questions from my audience here? Has this been helpful? We like what we're seeing. Play with it. Any chat information? I'm not seeing. I mean, no new chat, right? The same number. So hopefully they're cool too. Thank you for being at home. Thank you for those watching us later. I think we're
No
good.
questions online.
No questions online. Sean, we want to thank you very much for putting in the time and effort today in coming down to Laney College and
pleasure.
presenting to everybody.
Thank you all. All right, class dismissed. Always wanted to say that.
Have a good one, everybody.